You're listening to the Weekend Game Plan with Matthew Ross. Brought to you by Royal Ceramic, the consumer and contractor destination for incredible tile selection and much more. Visit royalceramic.com. The Weekend Game Plan on TSN 690. Weekend Game Plan gets out into the community with Suburban Newspaper sports editor Mark Lidbetter and the Amateur Sports Report.
Sports at thesuburban.com is the email for the weekly newspaper or for this weekly segment, Mark. Now, we are running a little tighter on time than normal, so we're going to bypass. You have two swimming stories today, Mark. You're going to have to pick one of them. We'll start with basketball, though.
Yes, sir. And the Trafalgar Tigers, led by game MVP Ray Dixon-Brown, defeated St. George's 37-29 to claim the GMA Midget Girls Basketball Championship, giving their coach Kathleen Casey Cook a great going-away present, as Coach Casey Cook is retiring after a 24-year stint at Traf. Now, what makes this title so special is the fact that the Tigers were in a unique situation this season. With no Bantam basketball team, they signed up a midget team with a majority of players from grade 7 and 8. There were only 3 players from grade 9 on the roster, actually. And despite the fact of being at disadvantage in terms of basketball experience, the team rose to the occasion. They battled for their league, leading 10 wins, and they spent many hours going over game strategy and execution. Now, with her career coming to a close at the end of the school year, Casey Cook noted that the championship match was a very emotional experience.
All right, moving on. Let's see. What do we want to go with here, Mark? Your call.
We'll talk about Dorval.
Yeah.
These are some talented young swimmers at the age of 11 and 12. And when the Dorval Swim Club took part in the 11 and 12-year-old provincials at the Université de Laval in Quebec, the team came in fourth in the medal standings, and one athlete broke 2 provincial records that have stood for close to a decade. Now, that's impressive given the fact that the club had no competitive swimmers at this age group up 3 years ago. Dorval had 15 swimmers among the 600 competitors from the 65 Quebec and Ontario clubs taking part, and DSC's Maya Holt was the meet's top overall performer with her record-setting swims. Maya took the 50 breaststroke gold in a new record time of 33:02, besting the old record of 33:41. She then took gold in the 100 breaststroke, touching the wall at 1:13:56 to undercut the previous mark of 1:14:06. Now, March will keep the Dorval swimmers busy as they will compete in the Quebec Cup in mid-March in Pointe Claire and the following weekend at the AAA Provincials in Gatineau. So an up-and-coming club in their new aquatic center there in Dorval.
All right, elsewhere, Mark, this is interesting. Who is Jimmy Ferrari? Tell me about this.
Jimmy Ferrari Cup is the trophy that's annually played for in the Quebec Midget AAA League, and the Laval, Montreal, Rousseau Royal, and Lac St. Louis Lions have closed the books on a successful regular season, where the Royal finished in first place in the CCM division and third overall, while the Lions were a solid second in the Tactics division. Now the postseason gets underway for this cup, and fans can take in the first 2 games of the series on Monday and Tuesday nights, as Laval Montreal takes on the Amos Forestiers at Montreal's Fleury Arena, and the Lions will host Gatineau at the Dollard Civic Center. All games have a 7 p.m. start, so a chance to get out and see some talented young hockey players. Because the winner of this will actually go on to the Canadian Championships.
Okay. Well, congratulations to the winner already. I'm just the first to say it. There you go.
Yeah, it's only the first series. There's a long road ahead.
Yeah, I know. Sports at thesuburban.com is the email address for this weekly segment or for the weekly newspaper. Thank you, Mark.
My pleasure. Catch you boys next week.
All right, there you go. It's Weekend Game Plan on TSN 690. Hour number 2 coming up. Pete Jensen, NHL.com. Who are you rooting for this playoff season? Which team and why? That's next.